Hey guys, I wanted to go over 2.5, just some of my math lab. Again, I am in student mode, so your numbers will be different, but the concept should be the same. So I'm going to start with 12 and go through to 25. The most confusing part for me for lesson 2.5 is the difference between the term and. If you see and here, and you must, any term that you put on the graph or in the interval notation must solve both inequalities. So there's inequality 1, there's inequality 2. It has to be true for both of them. Okay, you could solve or say be true for both of them. However, with or, you're just uniting them. So either one of the inequalities is solved, you're okay. Okay. So 12, so what I do to solve these is I take x is less than 4. Let's put that on the graph. Remember, less than is a parentheses. Going forever in this direction, the line will. Good. And then we have x is greater than -5. So I'll put a parentheses at -5 going the opposite direction. Good. An intersection must solve both inequalities. So that means if I were to overlap these two, this stops here, right? This one goes forever in this direction, but this one starts here. So I'm going to cut it off at -5. And then here, that looks like an arrow, but that's just because I drew it poorly. This one stops here. So my final answer is that it's every term between -5 and 4 with parentheses, because we use parentheses for less than or greater than, whereas we use brackets when it's has the equal sign, parentheses when it does not. Okay. Now, it's also going to ask us to write this in interval notation. In interval notation, I basically just take what is on the graph. So my graph starts with a closed parentheses at -5. Put a comma. It ends at 4. All right, number 13 is x is less than or equal to -3 and x is greater than or equal to +3. So here we'll have again, what I do is I just take that first one, x is less than or equal to -3. So I'll start at -3 because of this equal sign or half an equal sign. You have a bracket. So it's less than or equal to -3. It's going that way. And it is greater than or equal to +3. So at +3, we're going to have a bracket and it's going to go in the other direction. Sorry, you can't even see that. Where does it overlap? It does not overlap anywhere. So your graph is just going to be blank and you're going to say that there is no way to write that in interval notation. So you're going to choose that second box. You're just going to write 0, 0. That wouldn't work. You're just going to say whatever that one says. I think it says the solution set is null. All right. 14. Do it over here. 14 says x is less than -10 and x is less than 10. So I'm not going to make this super accurate just to save time. Here's -10. Here is +10. Here is 0, of course. I'm going to do the same thing. So this is less than -10. No bracket because there's no equal to. Second one is x is less than 10. So This starts at 10 and goes to negative infinity forever. This starts at negative 10 and goes to negative infinity forever. Remember, and means it needs to cover both of them, right? So we stopped it at negative 5. We stopped it at positive 4, even though this one kept going forever. This one kept going forever. Here, we didn't include anything because there is nowhere where it's greater than, less than or equal to negative 3 and greater than or equal to 3. It's nowhere. It's not going to show up on the graph. Here, x is less than negative 10 and x is less than 10. So where are they overlapping? Like they are overlapping here. They're only overlapping. Oh, I dropped my blue one. No, it's right here. All right, they are only overlapping starting at negative 10. So at negative 10 to negative infinity, they are both here and they both go in this direction forever would be the easiest way to say it. So remember, negative infinity always just gets a parentheses, never a bracket. So parentheses, negative infinity, and then it stops at negative 10. So there's nothing on your graph about 10. I put it on there just to have a visual to where they cross, but your graph is going to end at negative 10 and not include it. So you kind of ignore this part. It's less than negative 10 because that's where they overlap. All right, 15 says 3x plus 1 is less than or equal to negative 2 and x minus 3 is less than 5. So note that we still have an and, so it still needs to cover both. And the difference between this one and this one is we have to solve for x. You can generally use the same rules as if this were an equal sign, right? The only thing that changes is just in case you divide by a negative or you multiply by a negative, you have to flip this sign to make it face the other direction. I don't think we're going to encounter this here. So we want to solve for this x. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 1, subtract 1. I have 3x is less than or equal to negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. Then I'm going to divide by 3. X is less than or equal to negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. Good. You don't need to switch the sign because the thing you are dividing by is not negative. And so totally separate equation, x minus 3 is less than 5. So I'm just going to add 3 to both sides. X is less than 3 plus 5 is 8. Good. So now I don't want to forget my and just so I know where I'm going, right? X is less than or equal to negative 1 and x is less than 8. So this is going to look a lot like this one, right? It kind of doesn't matter. If it's less than negative 1, it doesn't matter that it's also less than 8, but I'll just show you on the graph anyway. Here's 8. Here's negative 1, so that'll be 0. So my first one is x is less than or equal to negative 1. I'm going to use a bit brighter color. Less than or equal to means I'm going to use a bracket and I'm going to go in the negative infinity direction. And then x is less than 8. So that is a parenthesis. And I'm going to also go in the less than direction. Good. I only care about where it's overlapping. So obviously we have from negative infinity, right? From negative infinity to where do they both, where does the group of 2 stop? The group of 2 stops at negative 1 with a bracket. It includes negative 1. Okay. So that's what I got for 15. All right, number 16 is negative 3x is less than negative 15 and x minus 3 is less than 5. So again, we're just going to solve this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by negative 3, divide by negative 3. As soon as you divide or multiply by a negative number, I want you to take that, switch it. So instead of a less than, it's now a greater than. That just becomes x. Negative 15 divided by negative 3 is a positive 5. Okay. And x minus 3 is less than 5. Add 3, add 3. X is less than 8. Good. All right, our number line, we're going to need a 5 on it and an 8. So here's my 8. Here's my 5. Good. X is greater than 5 and, okay, x is greater than 5. X is less than 8. I'm going to go back down to below the line. Good. Where do they overlap? They overlap between 5 and 8. So there's what I would mark on my number line. And then I would just take that and I would transfer it down. So this would be 5, 2, 8. Neither of them have an equal, so it will not have any brackets. 17. 6 is less than x minus 4, which is less than 19. So now we have a compound because we are keeping them both together. You are welcome to write them like this if you prefer. 6 is less than x minus 4 and x minus 4 is less than 19. Okay, you'll get the same answer. Or you can do it all at once. So then you would just solve those two individually, but you can do it all at once. So I'll rewrite it one more time. 6 is less than x minus 4 and x minus 4 is less than 19. What I want to do is I still want to get x alone. So I'm just going to take that 4 out of the middle by adding it. Anything I do to the middle, I have to do to both of the outsides now. That's the difference. So 6 plus 4 becomes 10 is less than x is less than 19, 23. Good. So x is going to be greater than 10 and x is going to be less than 23. Here's 10. Here's 23. Good. X is greater than 10. X is less than 23. Good. So our final answer is between 10 and 23. Good. Number 18. Negative 4 is less than or equal to 7x minus 18, which is less than or equal to 3. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move that 18. So I'm going to add 18 here in the middle to cancel that. Add 18 to the 3 and add 18 to the negative 4. 18 minus 4 just gives me 14, right? 18 plus 3 makes 21. And I'm going to divide everything by 7. Again, no negative, so I don't have to change any of these signs. 14 divided by 7 is 2. 21 divided by 7 is 3. So x is going to be between 2 and 3. I kind of look at it, but we can make sure. Here's 2. Here's 3. 2 is less than or equal to x, but that means x is greater than or equal to 2. So those are kind of a bit hard to read. I like reading them from left to right. You can even rewrite them if you like. So you can say, I like reading them with x always on the left. So I would flip that sign because I'm going to flip the whole thing over. X is less than or sorry, greater than or equal to 2. And x is less than or equal to 3. That makes it easier for me to read. Or you can start in the middle and read from right to left. X is greater than or equal to 2. Bracket, right? And then x is less than or equal to 3, bracket. And so my answer is going to be bracketed between 2 and 3. The way I would write that is a bracket that begins at +2 and ends at 3 with a bracket. The bracket means that it includes both 2 and 3. And 19 is, or sorry, yeah. Yep. 19 is x is less than 8 or x is greater than or equal to, sorry, I'm getting them confused. I made a little list of numbers and I'm x is greater than 8 X is less than 8. X is greater than or equal to 3 is problem 20. So the rest of problem 19 is X is less than 9. Okay, now here's the difference. This one says or. When we say and, it must solve both, or it must solve one. Either one, doesn't matter, okay? So I'm gonna make my line. I have 8 and I have 9. Let's look at this. X is less than 8. So that means it's going this way. It does not include a bracket. X is less than 9. Also does not include a bracket. All right, or either one. That means my final answer is anything that covers both the first and second equation. So that means I start at negative infinity. And the last point it covers is a positive 9. So it goes from negative infinity to 9 because it's or. If it was and, it would only go till 8, but it's or, so it goes until 9. It covers both of them. Number 20 is X is less than or equal to negative 8, or like I said, X is greater than or equal to a positive 3. We have negative 8 here. We have positive 3 here. So X is less than or equal to negative 8. That means I get a bracket. And then X is greater than or equal to 3. For your final answer, you are going to include that and that in your answer. Good. Okay, so the way we would write that is negative infinity to negative 8 with a bracket. Union, so we're going to put a U. Sometimes they ask for a U, sometimes they ask for a comma. So if you get it wrong because you put in a U, you might need a comma. 3 positive infinity. Okay. 21, X is greater than 2, or X is less than 8. Here's 2. Here's 8. Good. X is greater than 2. That means it goes forever in that direction. Oh, sorry. X is less than 8. That means that it goes forever in that direction. Good. All right. On your number line, you are going to cover everything, right? Because that one goes forever this way. That one goes forever this way. So what you have is negative infinity to positive infinity. 22 is negative 3x less than or equal to 12, negative 12, or 3x minus 22 greater than or equal to negative 7. Good. All right. Here's a negative 3x right off the bat. So I need to divide by a negative 3, divide by a negative 3. That means I need to flip that. I get x is greater than or equal to negative 12 divided by negative 3 is a positive 4. Or here, oh, I'm sorry. Here, I'm going to need to add 22 as my first step. So 22 minus 7. 22 minus 7 is 15. And then 15 divided by 3, positive 3, so I don't need to flip anything. X is less than or equal, sorry, greater than or equal to 3, 5. Good. All right, so let's put these on the graph. we have 4, and we have 5. So this one says x is greater than or equal to 4. This one says x is greater than or equal to 5. Good. And it's or, so it includes both of them. So I'm going to start at 4. And I'm going to go to infinity. Good. 23 is x plus 3 less than 0 or 6x greater than negative 12. Subtract 3, x is less than negative 3 or x greater than negative 2. Good. Here's negative 3. Here's negative 2. So we have or, one or the other, either one. X is less than negative 3. X is greater than negative 2. So what your final answer is will be good. So I have negative infinity, negative 3, union, negative 2, positive infinity. 24, 0, less than or equal to 2x minus 1, which is less than or equal to 5. Good. So I'm going to solve for x, add 1, add 1, add 1. I get 1 less than or equal to 2x less than or equal to 6. Divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. I'm left with 1/2 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 3. Again, you can write this as x is greater than or equal to 1/2 and x is less than or equal to 3. Or you can keep it like that if that's easy for you to understand. So basically, right, x is in the middle of 1/2 and 3, but we'll make sure. X is greater than or equal to 1/2, so I'm going to put a bracket. Make it go on forever. X is less than or equal to 3. Make it go on forever, give it a bracket. And it's and. So my final answer is going to be bracketed between 1/2 and 3. Good. All right, 25. Negative 8 is less than 2 times the quantity x minus 4, which is less than or equal to 5. Okay, we're solving for x. You need to multiply the 2 times the x and the negative 4 if we were going to distribute. But instead of distributing, I'm just going to divide by 2 and get rid of it, right? If I do it in the middle, I have to do it here and here. Negative 8 divided by 2 is a negative 4. Now that 2 is gone, I still have x minus 4. And then I have 5/2 over here. Now I'm going to add 4, add 4, add 4, right? Negative 4 plus 4 is just 0. Is less than or equal to x. Or sorry, is less than x. I don't want to start adding information. which is less than or equal to 5 halves plus 4. 5 halves, 4 is 8 halves, right? So 5 plus 8 is 13 halves. 13 halves is the same number as 6.5 or 6.5. Good. So 0 and oops. It's not how we've been doing it. Here is 0. Here is 6.5. Good. And we said x is greater than 0. And here we said x is less than or equal to 6.5. So again, that covers every number. It's going to be bigger than 0, so it's going to go forever in this direction, and it's going to be less than 13 halves, which goes forever in this direction. So we say our answer is all real numbers. All real numbers. If that is in interval notation, they might ask you to say negative infinity to infinity.